Welcome to RAF Cultural Heritage Centre. It's been a long wait and we welcome our dignified guests, Deputy Lieutenant and Councillor Carpenter, and all of our friends and other very, very valued people of Norfolk and the surrounding areas. We've been a bit of football on the TV, and people are saying that football may actually come home. Well, today, RAF Coltishall has come home, and it's with great honour that I welcome Sir Chris to give you a more sensible speech, and then to carry on.
Well, Deputy Lieutenant, Chair of the Norfolk County Council, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's a huge privilege for me to be here today as patron of the RAF Cultural Heritage Trust and to be able to welcome you to this, as Mervyn has said, very, very special day, to the opening of this important building, which I think is going to be of so much value to the young people and other people, the residents of Norfolk, and I hope more widely the United Kingdom, and even from some people from overseas. I'm particularly pleased that Group Captain Stuart Blackburn, an old colleague from my Royal Air Force days, the Deputy Lieutenant and Councillor Penny Carpenter have been able to join us, and a special welcome to Dr. Clive Stockston, the Chair of North Norfolk District Council, and Nigel Dixon, the Councillor for Houghton and Stalham. Without the support that we get from our local authorities and from the County Council, I know that we would not be able to do and to make endeavours such as this. Today is the 23rd of June, as you know. It's been chosen specifically because it was this day in 1940 that Royal Air Force Coiltishall was declared operational. Why is this station special? Well, Barder, Bob Stamford Tuck, Cat's-Eyes Cunningham, a number of other luminaries, a number of other very special names. And the Hurricane, the Spitfire, Mosquitoes, Javelins, the Lightning, of course, the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight, which we'll see later on, and the Jaguar. But to me, famous names are not what make RAF Cultural special. RAF Cultural special because of the families, the people, the thousands of people who pass through these gates to live and work here to deliver the RAF's operational output. And it was special because it's small. It's a little bit isolated, only 10 miles north of Norwich, but when you park a car just outside SHQ there, you can walk anywhere on this station and see what's going on and feel the pulse of this base. 3 squadrons when I was here on the front there, 4 at the end of my time, and you could walk backwards and forwards. So the interchange of ideas of operational excellence was always there. And it was happy. It was happy the whole while, and nobody really wanted to see it close, which sadly it had to do in 2006. And since then, there has always been a groundswell of opinion that there should be some form of permanent commemoration to what this station was all about, its proud history here at RAF Coltishall. So Mervyn and John and others started a working group back in 2015. They then managed to get charitable trust status in 2018 and madly invited me to be the patron of that trust. They got money together, they managed to persuade Mick Jennings, the warrant officer who'd served here, who had collected all sorts of memorabilia during his time. History. back in the day, before we had this amazing facility that we're now able to use, we used the Battle of Britain Memorial Hall, the old church hall, just down the road there. That was the generosity of the Corby family. I know, is Danny here today?
He can't be here, sir.
Oh, sad to hear, but an incredible venture, and it essentially proved to the locals, to the local authorities, to the county, what could be done. And I am absolutely convinced that that really was an important foundation stone for our being able to move to this facility here. And in 2020, here we are, we managed to get hold of this incredible building, a historical artifact in its own right. And I remember back in 1979 as a flying officer signing on through one of these windows as station duty officer for the night. Probably should leave that part of the history out of it. Is Tom Hempsell here?
Yes, I'm here.
Tom, without you and the effort that you put into this, we know that this wouldn't have happened. You've essentially, as exhibition manager, single-handedly put this together. A really fantastic job. I mean, I've seen it. Some of you haven't. You will spot professionalism writ large when you go through those doors and see what it is that has been done here. He has unquestionably been the driving force. And alongside preparing this incredible building, other people have been doing, Ian Stannett, where's Ian? Yeah. An amazing display of what in my day we called actuals, the cabins which had wet film processing, printing onto black and white photographs, 3D imagery from the recce force to be able to do the vital reconnaissance role that was delivered from RAF Coiltishall by the Jaguar force as well. And this, ladies and gentlemen, I hope, is but the first phase of the commemoration of this incredible station. The collection, which I spoke of as being the foundation of this centre, is already way too large to actually be able to fit in here. So we need more space. Councillors will be writing to you soon, I'm sure, for your support. We need more space, and we need to make it better, because I am quite convinced that we've got something here which young people from around the county and around the country should come and see, learn about the Royal Air Force, learn about modern history of aviation and aeronautics through an incredible facility like this. And we want, frankly, also to be able to tell a bit of a better story, because nowhere else is it done, about the search and rescue force of the Royal Air Force and the Jaguar force as well. At the back, we want a Spitfire, of course. Who doesn't want a Spitfire in their back garden? We want one of those. We've got one identified. We just need to get it here, and frankly, we also want a Jaguar too. I know we're on the case for that as well. We want to make this a veterans hub, so that people from the local area, the North Norfolk Veterans Association, start to think of this as one of their homes. This place, ladies and gentlemen, has got an incredibly exciting future, born out of a lot of work from very few people who had vision and the drive to bring that vision to reality. They've asked me not to do this. I'll ignore it. Mervyn, where's Mervyn? And John, come on, identify yourself to this mast, please, John. And Tom, I've already pointed out over there. Paul Sweetman, Ian McLeod, Chris Maloney, Dave Hollands, David Mann, Paul Handley, Ian Stannett, the recce guy, and Neil Foster. Please, the rest of us, give those guys a big hand. Hopefully, and knowing the man, Mark Discombe, who runs the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight, it's probably a pretty strong hope we'll be able to see the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight at 11:45. But before we do that, it's my great pleasure to invite Group Captain Stuart Blackburn, the Deputy Lieutenant, to formally open the RAF Coiltishall Heritage Centre.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, follow that. First of all, Air Marshal Chris, thank you very much indeed. Lady Jan, lovely to see you. Mr. Chairman and Chairman Norfolk County Council, it's a pleasure to see you all here, and I I've got to say, for me personally, it's a really great privilege. It's a bit nerve-wracking being in front of a guard room, though. It's a few years since I've done that, and it does make my knees knock a little with memories, etc. However, what I'd like to say first and foremost is congratulations to Norfolk County Council and also those others involved in ensuring that the heritage of this site has been preserved. It shows great foresight, I believe, to recognise the importance of the heritage. I think the work that's been undertaken, as the Air Marshals pointed out, just underlines how much can be achieved when both the veteran community and the civil community work together in harmony to produce what I think is already, from the little I've seen, a stunning example of that work. So my congratulations to all of those of you that have been involved. Now, your chairman foolishly asked me if I could recall any humorous stories about guard rooms. Most of them are not humorous. However, I joined the Air Force as an apprentice in the mid-60s, and I'm sure many of you did the same. And you will recall the guard room was a place that you only ever went when you were trying to get off the station, or if you were on jankers. That was restrictions, a form of punishment that was given locally. As an ex-apprentice, it was very hard not to get jankers, and I didn't succeed in not getting jankers. So I've served many a day in front of the buildings like this being inspected. 3 times a day, I seem to recall. First inspection in the morning was in working dress, but that was normally denims, overalls, working boots, a webbing belt, and your beret. And you were then tasked with what you were going to do that day, and that was either working in the cookhouse or some other part of the station where you would be treated as if you were a skivvy, which we were, of course. However, the middle of the day, we had to turn up in our battle dress, wearing our full webbing, which in those days was blancoed blue. It certainly wasn't plastic or anything of that sort. And then at the end of the day, we had a final parade in our best blue, and those were the days when buttons were not stay bright, and also we had to wear white webbing. Now, when you first join, you're given one set of webbing, and scraping off blue blanco in order to put whitening on a webbing belt, etc., is not easy, especially when you're talking about a bayonet frog with a little thing that sits at the back of the belt that holds your bayonet. And as a result, if you were awarded probably the minimum days restrictions was 3 days restrictions, then you'd end up doing 14. Normally, because you could see the blue blanco through the whitening when you had your best blue being inspected. And I did lots of 14 days. So I've got to say, it's got mixed memories for me standing in front of a guard room, but this one actually brings me a lot of happy memories as well. Guard room on any station is the heart of the station. When things go wrong, it's where people go to get help. And I'm delighted to see that that tradition is going to be maintained through North Norfolk Veterans Association and outside the wire. It's great to see them involved, and I'm delighted with that progress, and I congratulate you for that. And that will maintain the reputation of the guard room as a place to go for help. I'd also like to congratulate you all on just the amount of work to get this looking so fine through such a traumatic period. I think all of us would agree there hasn't been a year quite like the last year that we've been through, and to have achieved all of this during that period is quite exceptional. So again, Norfolk County Council, Hethel Innovation, I'm absolutely delighted that you've stuck with the vision. The RAF Station Coltishall Heritage Trust, I congratulate you on everything you've achieved, and on behalf of my wife and I thank you for including us today. The station has one last special memory for me. I was a station commander at Washington and sadly had to close it down. And on my very last day after the parade, it was decided I would fly out of the station in a chipmunk. Because my home is here in Norfolk, I flew to Coiltishall. So it has very fond memories of me. I actually landed the aeroplane that day, don't tell anybody, which was a great experience for me. And to find my wife here waiting for me was an extra special event. It shows that the car was actually faster than the chipmunk because she was by the aeroplane when I left. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'd like to open the centre. And there, the RAF Station Coltishall Heritage Centre open.
Ladies and gentlemen, BBMF are due at 1:45. Rather than take you all through into the building and bring you all out again, perhaps if we could just loiter in this area, take a look at the shade on the veranda, and then we'll all come back out again for the fly past, which will be, as I say, 11:45 dead on.